Like Zach,
Richard.
I will. Well, what's in the dry? I don't want to.
I just heard his voice.
What does it mean? I have a pen.
For whatever reason,
Not on me right now.
I guess Zach, like my people would say, he kept getting more and more time on here. I remember my very first call on TFR. Actually, it was about the
Rambo.
Richard.
Close.
louder.
Sorry, I didn't know.
I remember my very first call to TFR. Zach actually complained that like this guy goes on for 10 minutes. Well, my last show, by the time I was on, there were only 20 minutes left. So I was on for almost the entire show. In contrast to my very first call, where he complained I was on for 10 minutes. But anyway, today is Patriot Day. I don't know if people know this. This is officially Patriot Day. In Gematria, this is in the Sumerian cipher, if you're familiar with that. Patriot Day sums to 846. This is how Gematria works. That's why they called September 11th Patriot Day. It has a Gematria value of 846. And the significance of 846 is that, right, 9/11 started. The opening salvo, the first hit on Tower 1 was at 846.
George Perry Floyd.
Right, and multiple other things, but this is how Gematria works. It is not a coincidence that they call this Patriot Day. And Patriot Day sums to 846 in Gematria. This is how Gematria works. It's like a code to the universe. But today I want to talk about somebody who doesn't get a lot of publicity, a real truth warrior who was getting publicity but isn't anymore, and I'll explain why that is. Her name is Beverly Eckert. If you look up research Beverly Eckert, her husband worked in Tower 2, and he worked on the 98th floor, and he died in Tower 2. That's Beverly Eckert's husband. His name was Sean P. Rooney. And she became an advocate for the 9/11 victims. And it is actually thanks to her, mostly her organizing, that they even had a 9/11 commission, which was a joke, which even she said the 9/11 commission was a travesty. It was not a commission, and she kept pushing for the commission, and she was a very powerful voice. She even had the ear of the president. And her activism continued into the Obama administration. And she actually met Barack Obama at the White House, where he commended her for her advocacy, because one of the things she advocated was to look into the domestic causes of 9/11. Because now people are encouraged to look at Saudi Arabia and look at Al-Qaeda. She says, no, you have to look at domestic forces, American intelligence,
Angel baby.
and the powerful economic elites in
I
the
remember you online, Angel baby.
focus.
No, I'm just giving my legs a break.
I just don't want to be in your way. I want to
No,
talk
no,
to
you're
Zach.
good.
She wanted to focus
Your elbow
more on that.
making
She was
noise.
not.
You're good.
She was not
Thank you.
satisfied with the findings of the 9/11 commission. Well, it was 6 days. This was in
Ask him questions. Ask him questions.
2009, on February 12th, 2009. This is 6 days after meeting with Barack Obama. Beverly Eckert she's actually from Buffalo, Buffalo's in the news a lot. As you know, there was the Todd shooting. The current governor of New York State was the first female governor of New York State. Kathy Hochul is from Buffalo. Well, Beverly Eckert was a Buffalo native. She was returning to Buffalo, and her plane crashed on the outskirts of Buffalo. That was on February 12th of 2009, and she was a real truth teller. And she was another thing she did was she rejected the government settlement for 9/11 victims. And so this is one thing you have to understand. You have sympathy for the families, but the families who got compensated, they actually, in order to get compensated, they also agreed not to challenge the official narrative. So yes, have sympathy for the families, but if they got compensated, you got to understand, in exchange for the compensation, they essentially took an oath, a contract, not to challenge the official narrative. Well, Beverly Eckert did not sign the contract. She actually, I think it's $1.8 million average was the payout. And then that's what happened to her. She ended up dying in a plane crash in Buffalo. She was from Buffalo. She died at age 57. And Kathy Hochul, the governor from Buffalo, is the 57th governor of New York State. That's a big number we're seeing with Buffalo.
Super Bowl is February 12th.
Exactly, and it's the 57th Super Bowl on a date with 57 numerology. Yeah. Right, so yeah, when you see gematria, you'll see the synchronicity. But Beverly Eckert wrote an op-ed in USA Today. I just want to read her op-ed. She should be getting more publicity in the truth community. People have forgotten her name, that's why I feel it's important. This is from her op-ed. Her op-ed was called "My Silence Cannot Be Bought," because she did not accept the government settlement like the families. I'm not disparaging the families, but you have to know. In exchange for the settlement, they agreed to not to challenge the official narrative. So this is part of Beverly Eckert's her opinion piece. A quote: I've chosen to go to court rather than accept a payoff from the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund. Instead, I want to know what went wrong with our intelligence and security system that a band of religious fanatics was able to turn 4 U.S. passenger jets into an enemy force attack, attack our cities and kill 3,000 civilians with terrifying ease. I want to know why 110-story skyscrapers collapsed in less than 2 hours, and why escape and rescue options were so limited. The Victims Fund was not created in the spirit of compassion, so she was not in favor of the compensation funds to the families. It was not created in a spirit of compassion. Rather, it was the tacit acknowledgement by Congress that it tampered with our civil justice system in an unprecedented way. So I say to Congress, big business, and everyone who conspired, she used that word, the C word, conspired to divert attention from government and private sector failures. My husband, her husband, that was Sean Rooney. His life was priceless, and I will not let his death be meaningless. My silence cannot be bought. So I just feel on this day, this is an important person to remember. She was a martyr. She died for this. She died at age 57 in Buffalo, the hometown of the first female governor of New York, was the 57th governor. And so that's an important name to remember. And so yeah, I'll leave it with that. I think that's somebody I think the truth movement especially should be embracing a lot more. It's really hard to find information on her. So on 9/11, I would say remember Beverly Eckert, who I think is a real martyr.
Nice job, Rambo.